My big claim to fame was the Imperial Margarine commercial, the one that went da-da-da-dum, that one. I got that on a referral. The real guy that was supposed to do it didn't feel like doing it. He said, "You can handle this." I said, "I don't know." It's 4 notes. A lot of people think drum corps is a sport. And because there's a competition involved in some aspects of it, it is sport-like in that regard, but it's much more than that. Because it's not just about the sport. Because in a sport, somebody wins, somebody loses. Here, everybody can win. There isn't only one successful drum corps and all the rest of them are on the ash heap of history. That's not how it works. There are lots of them that, if you got in the middle of that circle, could give you those thrills and chills, and I'm thinking about it now, and the hair on my neck is standing up. Okay, I can't help it.
And to introduce Frank, our friend Dave Richards.
Good evening, everybody. Prior to introducing Frank, watching the 27th Lancers in a company front and a melodic line that lasted more than 4 measures, and you all applauded. Thank you. You are about to meet and hear from a legend in the Drum and Bugle Corps activity. Frank Doherty began his drum corps experience with Scout Pack 333 in 1955 at the age of 9. You saw the photo. He was lead soprano soloist with his high school corps in the early 1960s and was also in the highly competitive St. Catherine's Queensmen Junior Drum and Bugle Corps. In his high school senior year, he joined the Long Island Sunrisers Senior Corps and spent 10 years as a soloist, instructor, and arranger with them. He then moved west and became an instructor with the Blue Devils, which led to him being hired as an instructor, arranger, or consultant with virtually every major corps in the United States in the 70s and 80s. Frank also served as a clinician and/or adjudicator for the Northeastern Circuit, Drum Corps West, DCI, Drum Corps United Kingdom, Drum Corps Japan, and the South African Field Bands. He has authored several books on brass methods and sound methods, and he produced the DCI 30th Anniversary Echoes collection, featuring every major finalist from 1972 through 2002. The first multi-track DCI recording, state of the art, and produced the the first Tour of Champions DVD. And in his spare time, he became a member of the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences, where he's received 2 Grammys from the 9 nominations that he's been honored with. I am honored and thrilled to introduce this gentleman, this drum corps legend, as a 2016 inductee into the DCI Hall of Fame, an introduction that should have come several decades earlier. Mr. Frank Doherty.
Ooh, baby. So this is really a time to say thank you, of course. But before I do that, George told me that there was a time limit, and since he once gave my corps a penalty for overtime, I brought Miss Piggy with me, and she's going to time this to make sure. Now, so of course, if it goes off, I'm setting it a little bit early, so if it goes off, it's just the first gun, okay? Yeah. Anyway, first of all, the thank yous to my sponsor, the great Dave Richards, to Yuma Hahn, to Wayne Downey, and to Billy Cobham, all of whom wrote letters for me. I'm very grateful to them. All the members who voted for me, I want to thank you, and also all the members who didn't vote for me. I want to make it clear that I thank you for not calling the other ones to tell them the very good reasons why you didn't. I want to thank my wife, Shirley, for, among other things, allowing me to wear her DCI Hall of Fame Guest of Shirley Doherty pass for the last several years at contests. Then, of course, in all seriousness, my mentors, Jim Donnelly, John Sasso, Donald Angelica, Dr. Bernard Baggs, Carl Jefferson of Concord Records, and First Sergeant Robert I. Murphy of C Company, 142nd Armored Division. The Corps directors I had the privilege to work for, Noel Borden, Mr. Yuma Hahn, Ed Frenzel, Dr. Joseph Cinzio, Jerry Seawright, Parker Silva, Gail Royer, Robbie Robinson Sr., Jeff Perkins, Al Foss, George Bonfiglio, Larry Hirschman, Ted Swaldo. And then the colleagues who always had my back, these visual geniuses like Clark Williams, Ray Capicelli, Bobby Hoffman, Pete Emmons, Rich Warga, Mel Stratton, Mike Moxley, Dave Bandy, George Zingali, and Mark Sylvester, who always knew the right place to put the sopranos. It's true. Percussion masters who I worked with, who could have made anybody's charts sing. Jerry Shelmer, Billy Gakel, United States Marine Corps, George Tuthill, Rick Odello, Dennis DeLucia, the incomparable Charlie Poole, Rob Muller, Fred Sanford, Jack McGinnis, Ed Teleke, and the man from whom I learned more music than any other single human being on the planet, Ralph Hardiman. The brass wizards who polished off all my rough edges, Dennis Dewey, Bob Cardineo, Tommy Lizotte, Wayne Downey, Dave Rohr, Gary Ulrich, John Zimney, Jerry Kelsey, James Elvord, Rick South, Scott Pearson, Stephen Melillo, Dennis Aquilina. But most of all, my students, because they are the musicians who make the notes come alive and bring passion to the music, and I know many in this room know what I'm talking about. When I was 13, my mom said to me one time, my very intuitive mother, she said, "Frankie, you really like that bugle, don't you?" Yeah, Mom, I do. Well, I think you should go wherever it takes you. It took me here. And where is here? Where is here? Dr. Baggs, B-A-G-G-S, asked me one time. he asked me one time, when the man handed you the Grammy, what was going through your head? What was in your mind? What were you thinking about? I said, well, you know, really, Bernie, there were two things. One was, without drum corps, this does not happen. And the other was, as cool as this is, I'd rather win DCI East. Right? And Denise, Dan, Myron, you all know what I'm talking about. Right? But to tell you the truth, quite honestly, this is even better than that. Thank you very much, my friends.